Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Gabe Amo of Rhode Island. He serves on the House Budget and Foreign Affairs committees. So, Congressman, today we'll focus on the budget work. First of all, I know that you guys are in the minority. You're the last to know, but do you think you're voting on this today?
Well, look, you heard Speaker Johnson say yesterday that he was praying for votes. I think they need to be praying for a conscience, because they're only going to make Americans poorer and sicker. And I think that realization is coming across a lot of their caucus. And we just need three Republicans to say this is not the right thing to do, to hurt seniors, to hurt kids, to deny health care and food assistance. So, look, I'm rooting against them, and I'm hoping that their conscience prevails.
That's not shocking. They're rooting against them. And yet you did try to make some trims, set some rules about what they could cut in this, specifically around SNAP and Medicaid. Yeah. Talk about the amendments that you tried that ultimately didn't pass, but what it says about this larger process.
As you know, the House Rules Committee is the Speaker's committee, right? They essentially set the terms of debate on the floor. And I said, look, let's put some common sense amendments forward to show where my Republican colleagues stand. Let's affirm Medicaid as an important program that takes care of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans, and ensures that our seniors in nursing homes are taken care of, that we have a social safety net for people. In addition, my amendment on SNAP affirmed the value of that program to keeping kids' bellies full. And we're sending them to school, and we want them to thrive, but we got to start with a nutritional basis. Uncontroversial, but as we saw last night, they failed. And that shows you where my Republican colleagues stand. They are betraying the American people for billionaires. Be very clear, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are very much cheering on the defeat of the American people, the defeat of seniors and kids. That is not okay for me, and I'm hoping three Republicans of good conscience will rise up.
Because I do think that people might look at this budget process and say, okay, they're making cuts, but they're making cuts in the same bill that they're also trying to do $4.5 trillion in tax cuts within. And I know that the process can get really sticky, but it's important for people to, I think, keep that in mind. The other piece of this, though, is it's important that Democrats tell that to the American public. Do you think that Democratic leadership on your side of the building, Hakeem Jeffries specifically, is doing enough right now?
Well, look, I think this is one of those issues where we have to get closest to the people we serve, right? This is not a Washington conversation. All last week, I spent time going across my district in Rhode Island, speaking to seniors, community health care centers, all other social service providers to say this is what your impact is. And what I'm hoping, and I think you saw some of this in the coverage, is that my Republican colleagues are feeling the heat from their constituents in town halls, in their on the phone lines in their offices, where they are hearing that this is not okay. So I think this burden falls on the majority. They want to make drastic cuts. The Republicans are in charge. They say they want to lead. They said they want to cut costs. Well, all they're doing is cutting the bottom line for the American people.
But do you think that this is sinking in with voters? I mean, you just came back from a week at home. Headlines are flying. You and I are paid to keep up with this stuff, and sometimes it's really hard. So do you think that people with other things going on in their lives, are they attached to what's happening here? Do they get it?
I think people are starting to see it, right? Look, again, the stuff that we do, the acronym soup of government, is not accessible for the American people. But when you put it in terms about being in good health or poor health, when you put it in terms of being hungry and not, and when people start to see the impacts, as we've seen costs that the House Republicans said they were going to help knock down, not be adjusted at all. In fact, things are more expensive. The American people are seeing very clearly that this is one big scheme and a fraud and a betrayal that we have to defeat with the help of three Republicans.
Keeping an eye on prices is going to be really important, and certainly some House campaign arms are already up on the air in some vulnerable districts, trying to make that point early and often to voters. Democratic Congressman Gabe Amo of Rhode Island, thank you.